This is a video over getting back up from falling on the ground. And there, in the description, there'll be another video, or actually two. One video over actually falling and how to protect yourself properly. I'm going to just review that a little bit today. I made that video maybe sometime last year. And then another video over some exercises that help to strengthen the body so that it's easier to get up off the ground. If you're watching the video because you're subscribed to my channel, that's one thing. But you may have actually been searching this. There is a lot of videos on YouTube about falling or about getting back up. And a little bit about me, if you're coming to this and you're not subscribed. I teach Chongqi Tai Chi, which is a combination of Tai Chi with throwing from Shuajiao, and I also am a Shuajiao instructor. And a lot of the videos I watch and the way that people are telling people to fall down or ways to get back up, I don't necessarily agree with some of the things. And I'm going to kind of discuss that just a little bit before we get into this stuff. I've seen videos where, they're telling the person to do this with their hands, right? Or it's things where they're telling people to do these kind of things. Well, that works great if you have a mat. And but if I do it on this floor, or say you're in your living room or some other room in the house where you have, I don't know, dressers or appliances, or maybe a coffee table or an end table, and you swing your arms out in like this to buffer the fall, you're, in a lot of ways, potentially you're going to break the arm or the hand, and especially doing this kind of stuff, dislocate the shoulder or the elbow or break the wrist and then fall and hit your head. And so I don't necessarily agree with that approach to falling, sticking the hands out. Again, slapping the mats, to dissolve some of the force of the throw, that works good. But in Shuajiao that I teach, we don't do it that way. We actually cover the head, and when we fall, we're protecting our head, right? I mean, yes, even if I broke my arm, it's better than me fracturing my skull or breaking an eye orbit or damaging my head or my brain. I really want to protect this more than my body. I know that if you had to choose between one or the other, what would you rather? Would you rather have a concussion or a broken arm? And I would rather not do things to affect my mind. At the same time, I see a lot of the videos that people produce, and I've been thrown down literally, thousands of times and gotten up from the ground. Okay, so it's not theory to me. In other words, well, if you do this and you roll this way and you do this, then you should, you're going to be able to get back up. Okay, well, you have to practice this stuff. It's just like anything else. Like I teach, the Tai Chi that I teach, we practice the movements and the application of it. If not, then I'm just theorizing. I'm guessing at how to make this movement work. And the same thing with either falling or getting back up. You need to practice it. And because you watch the video and they tell you to do it like this, and you go, okay, well, I got it. I can roll like this and do this and get myself back up. If you live alone or you're alone a large portion of the day and you're older and you're concerned about potentially falling and hurting yourself, you should practice this. And when you initially start practicing, you want to make sure that there's someone there that can help you get back up if you don't physically have the strength to get back up. And but if you could practice the basic idea of falling, if you watch my other video, and I'll look a little bit of this today, but also the getting back up, right? If you practice that, you will give yourself so much more confidence that if you did fall down, maybe you know a way to protect yourself, and also it's not foreign to you. You've practiced this. So my recommendation, if you really are serious about learning how to protect yourself when you fall and how to get back up, I highly recommend that you practice this stuff once or twice a week, every week, and it will resonate with you in that way. That being said, I have a mat here to practice on. You can easily buy, even a smaller mat than this. This is 8 feet. You can just 6'1". Or you can easily buy these off of Amazon or eBay. Even if one of those type of warehouse retailers, you can buy it cheap. If not, if you've got a carpeted area in your home, that you could practice on, that'll work too. Maybe an extra wide yoga mat. It wouldn't be as padded, but something like this would be ideal. Okay, that all being said, like I said, in the description of this video, I'm going to put links to a falling video and also to a video that's kind of some exercises that you can do every day to strengthen the upper body to help to push you up off the ground, and leg exercises. And two of the core exercises that you can do standing up, and is one, squats from a chair to help to strengthen the legs, because you're going to have to stand up if you're on the ground and you want to get back up. There's a whole bunch of videos about dragging yourself over to a piece of furniture and pulling yourself up. Okay, but that makes sense. But at the same time, if that is my only means to get myself back up off the ground, is to drag myself over to a chair and push myself up, what happens if I fall down in the yard? What happens if I fall down in the slip and I fall in the garage? I'm just talking about around the house scenarios. You're not always going to just fall in the living room right next to the sofa, so you can drag yourself up onto the sofa and sit in the chair and stuff like that. And most of them do not address exercises on the ground, right? I'm talking about the squats here, and even if you're older, doing some wall push-ups, those two exercises are great. But one of the other video, like I said, is over these exercises. But we're going to look at some exercises on the ground. So when you get down there, you practice some of these exercises, you get the idea of standing back up. And again, it'll develop the confidence, the understanding. If you're younger and you're watching this, which probably not too younger people will be interested in watching this video, but even if you're 20 or 25 or 30, you still need to know how to fall down and protect your head. People get injured in their 20s. They slip and they fall down. It happens all the time. And if it was a altercation and you fell on the asphalt out there or the concrete, and you're not protecting your head, you could potentially get hurt. And then sometimes people are very violent and aggressive. And just because you're falling on the ground doesn't mean they're going to stop trying to hit you. And you want to be able to protect your head. So everything that I do, I look at it from these two sides, right? How does this benefit we'll say that younger crowd, and how does it benefit the older crowd? And almost all of it interacts with both age brackets. If we want to say, split them into two pieces, right? 50 and under, or 45 and under, and 45 to 80, So that being said, the falling, right? It's not, I don't have to fall from up here, and drop myself or, do a complete forward flip. And I'm not asking you to do something like that if you're in your 60s or in your 70s. If you've been doing this stuff, for 30 or 40 years, and you're in your 70s, you still should be able to do that. My teacher is 76, and he still does rolls and falls and stuff like that. But he's been doing it for 50-something years, okay? So it's ingrained in him. But if this is something new for you, and you're concerned about the falling aspect, there's even another video that I have that I will include in the links about walking and leaning, bending from the spine as you walk. This is one of the big ways that people end up falling, because they're pushing the weight out over the foot, and then if they turn or something, more of the weight goes over, and a lot of times that's what causes falling. And there's just standard accidents. I slip on a wet surface. Again, if you're doing self-defense and it's, this parking lot out here, there's lots of loose gravel and things, and you're moving around, you may slip and fall, and you don't know how to fall properly. That's when you break the wrist or the elbow, the shoulder, hit the head, break the collarbone. The same type of injuries that a person in their 70s could have. So, but you can easily do the falls this way. Cover my head, I do a squat, and I practice falling to the side, right? Or I fall backwards, and as I squat, I roll myself to my side. And look, I don't have any of my appendages out. The other thing, too, about practicing falling is that when people do this kind of stuff, or this kind of stuff, that a lot of these other videos that I've watched, they want people to do, it's like you increase the speed of it. I know that may sound odd, but if I swing my arms out to try to stop me, or I'm going to protect myself from this fall, and I do this stuff, and then I smash my arms into the thing, and I don't protect my head, it's almost like I increase the velocity of it. If you role play this out and you practice it, I want to make myself like a ball. I want to contract. I go to slip, I want to relax my body and let my whole body sink. I don't want to fall from up here like a tree. I want to drop myself right away. I'm going to slip up. I want to be able to pull it in. And that's the same if you're younger. Same thing. I don't want to fall like this and hurt my arms and then not even protect my head. So anyway, we'll video of that. So a lot of these videos, they address it in different ways, right? You fall in on your side or you're on your back, right? And you'll see some where they'll keep this leg straight, they'll put this leg up, and then they'll roll themselves over onto their stomach, right? Or you'll see these where the legs are completely straight, they'll squeeze the arms in, and they'll try to roll over. Okay, well, and then from the rollover, several of them do it differently. They'll do it in this situation, and they will start bending the knees and pushing back with the arms. Well, it works, right? But then from here, I have to go to a knee, and a lot of them will do one knee up, and then they'll push into this leg and drive themselves up. Or they'll be here, and they'll bring the leg up, and they'll push up with both. Well, that's great if you have the strength to do that. And if you don't, then it's just theory, and especially if you don't practice it. I'm going to show a couple other ways to do it and kind of tie it all together. This is a good one to practice. We'll say whether I was on my side and I roll to my back, on my side, right? Sometimes it's easier, and this is a great thing to practice because it'll help to strengthen the muscles that you need in your core in which to help you to have the mobility to move around on the ground. And I would recommend just, again, lay on the ground and move your body around and see how much mobility you truly have. But if I bring my feet to me like this, we do this in grappling, right? Somebody will say they're across you like this, and we will bring the legs up and like trap an arm, and we will push up with the leg, right? So roll them off of me. A lot of times, this kind of stuff like this, and you're like this, you really have to have good abdominals or core muscles in general to roll yourself over. If you take and put yourself in this position, feet here, or all the way, the closest you can get them to you, and then I'm going to lift from here. And in other words, if you think you do this once or twice a week, you do these exercises on the ground that I'm going to share with you, and you try to stand yourself up, and you'll get stronger, you'll get more mobile, you'll develop more confidence, and you'll feel better about being able to get up. Now, I will say this before I get too much more deep in this. If you did fall down, before you try to maneuver yourself, check your joints. You know, your ankles, your knees, your hip, your shoulders, your elbows, your wrist. Did I hurt anything, right? Because maybe you hurt this arm, and now I cannot roll to that side, or I can't utilize this arm, right? Or maybe I hurt my hip. Now, if you damage the hip really bad or something, you potentially are going to have to stay relaxed and wait for someone to come and help you. But again, if we practice the falling and we practice the getting up, we're going to make ourselves safer, and we're going to make ourselves more confident and more aware. I mean, if I'm in my mid-50s, if I was in my mid-70s or mid-60s even, and I was concerned about falling down, one, I would do things to strengthen my body. That would be number one. But number two, around my home, I would make sure that I started doing a checklist. Is this safe where this thing is? Could I slip and fall and hurt myself on that? Or how about this rug or something like this? Right? This thing here, it slides around. You know, when you slip on something like that, I mean, if this was maybe a more sticky rubber or something, it wouldn't move. What I'm talking about is make your house safer. It's like when people have a couple and they have a baby, right? And they need to start kind of making their house safer, right? Putting little latches on cabinets so the child can't open it up and get to cleaning supplies, right? Or or being able to open doors and to put the extra things on there to make it harder to turn. That kind of stuff like that. I can do the same thing for myself, or for a loved one that you're concerned that may fall down. So to me, those things, it's like creating these precautions to reduce this situation. It's just like with self-defense. I don't want to stop at that gas station at 11 o'clock at night that has 6 or 7 sketchy people hanging out front. I'll go down the street to a few blocks to the other gas station where it seems more lit up and safer, right? I need to think that way about every aspect of my life. So anyway, this is a great exercise to practice, and you can do it with your hands here on the sides. And do a set of 10, right? The pliability that you're going to help with this, and this will also help with a leaning forward stance for people that, their muscles have gotten fatigued with the hip flexors. This helps a lot to strengthen that for your walking around. Okay? And then look, I'm going to push the leg out. Right? So I probably do a set of these. I can do 1 or 2 or 10 or 2 sets. And then pushing the leg out, drawing it back. Push the leg out, draw it back. Push the leg out, draw it back. Like this. We want to make sure we have the range of motion and the strength in our hips and legs to help us to get out. We're going to look at also at the arms. Now, like I said again, if I fell and I'm on my back, and I want to roll over to the side, there's 2 or 3 ways I can do this. One, I can leave this leg straight, and if I have the flexibility, I'll move this leg over. But when I do that, I'm going to do my arm like this, like I'm going to punch the ground. Right? So say I'm here, and as I pick this leg up, and I go to set it down, I'm going to punch. Again, I kind of lift and put the leg over, and I'm going to use this momentum, and I'm going to punch with this, and help me to roll over to my side. Okay? It's one approach. Another one, I can leave both legs straight and pull my hands in. I'm not that fond of this one, but you should try all of them and see what feels comfortable to you. But from here, do this and try to roll over. To me, it's like rolling from a dead stop, right? I mean, you can do that in your sleep, but I guess you can do that with this too. I see several people try to teach that as an option. But to me, this one here, straight leg, step over with this leg and punch over, and it'll help you to roll with more momentum. Or pull the heels in. As I lift up, I can either leave one leg straight and push up, and I can roll over. I can do it with 2 legs. I push up, and I just let myself fall to the side. Say I did this, whichever one I used, I stepped over and I pushed. And I'm here now on my side. I'm going to need the strength to get myself up off of this. Now, you can roll all the way over, right? And that's kind of what we're going to do. But look, my arm is kind of trapped. I can try to fight to get this out. But if I've got enough arm strength that I can push with this hand, and I'm going to pull my arm through, I'm going to lay myself flat, right? Again, here. And I'm going to push with this arm just enough that I create enough space that I can pull the arm through it. I'm going to flatten myself out. Again, push up, slide it through. Now, a lot of them talk about pushing down with the elbow to drive yourself up. This takes a lot of strength too. And then a lot of them from here, then they'll base off of the pressure they create here to push the body up. Again, all of this relates to strength. If you don't have strength, you're not going to be able to get yourself off the ground. So, as it relates to an exercise, even here, just doing some basic push-ups from my knees, and even just here from the waist. If I can raise myself up, or push up here. If I can do 1, 5, or 10, and also 2, I'm going to combine these 2. So I roll to my side. Now, I'm going to push with this arm and roll myself back onto my back. A push. Right? Here. A roll.